Okay, so who's heard of this game? Because I haven't.
Free of its mortifying weight on our shoulders. This, he was only the most malformed.
I would call Metal Eden a hybrid of Doom Eternal, Ghostrunner, mixed in with a bit of Titanfall 2. I was scrolling Steam and I saw it. It wasn't even on the main page, it was just in the new releases. Hadn't seen any trailers or anything like that, and I thought I'd give it a click. I thought, alright, well, get it and I'll see what it's like. So I thought, here we go. It could be a fun ride. And if you did know about it, then fair play to you, because it's actually a bit of a hidden gem. This kind of game just slips out quietly and then just kind of amazes everyone. So I feel like that it is a bit of a hidden gem. There are some things I feel like they could work on. It's kind of one of those games where you finish it and you just think, you know, okay, like I hope they make a sequel, because this could be really, really cool if they polish it up. Even for now, it's a solid ride.
Dopamine administered. Rebuild. Plastics engaged. Backup frame check completed.
So you play as Asuka. You're basically an android with kind of a human mind stuffed in there. The whole thing takes place on this orbital city called Mobius. I think it's Mobius. Not Morbius. Mobius. Which was supposed to be humanity's new paradise. And it's just kind of gone to hell. There are machines running around. So your job is to track down the 4 engineers, kind of take the cores, reunite them, and save what's left of humanity. So I don't want to go into spoilers for what actually happens, but you kind of get the gist. The levels are all linear, which sounds boring, but if you played these types of games, it works really well. You know, I know the new Doom game has experimented a lot with kind of semi-open world stuff, larger levels. This just kind of goes back to the roots. I think it did well in doing so. I think it was needed, because this type of game, with it being kind of fast-paced, it suits the gameplay a lot more. You're always moving forward. At the end of the level, it either leads to a story cutscene, and other times it's a boss fight. But it keeps the momentum going, which I thought was really great. Now the gameplay itself is fast. You're wall running, you're kind of dashing, grappling, and you can transform into a ball with some of the like larger levels. They're still linear, but just more open. You can transform into a ball for a bit more traversal. It kind of gives off like Doom Eternal vibes with a lot of the combat. So, you know, there's a lot of weapon swapping and stuff like that, which is great. And also a bit of Ghostrunner as well with the movement. So you're going from panels to panels, grappling. If you've played Ghostrunner, you kind of get that vibe. But there is one mechanic which I thought was really cool, which was the core ripping mechanic. It's really, really fun. And you beat an enemy, get his health down, and you can take the core out. And then you can either kind of throw it at someone like a grenade, or you can absorb it for like a buff. So it gives you the opportunity to do like a massive punch, and that gets rid of a shielded enemy. Really, really cool. And it kind of keeps you on your toes, jumping from enemy to enemy. Shooting some of the weapons kind of let you take down the shields, which is quite cool. And then you swap to another one. So you've got energy rifles and grenade launchers, and those get rid of the shields really quickly, and you swap to what they call a kinetic weapon, which is more, you know, your average machine gun or SMG to kind of get their health down. I think the weapons are quite solid. You've got your SMGs, your rifles, a couple of the heavier guns, and they each have alternate fire. So you can level them up and you can customize your guns as well. It's quite limited on the customization, but there are options there. They sound good, they feel quite heavy and meaty to use, which is nice. And paired with the mobility, I never kind of got bored having the fights, they just kind of kept ploughing on. It's not the deepest arsenal of weapons ever, there's maybe like 6 weapons or 5, but it was enough to kind of keep you experimenting and going back and forth. The gun customization has some very small challenges, so it's like maybe get 15 to 20 kills with this weapon in order to unlock kind of that next progression. and you can have stuff like adding an energy ball to your gun or something like that. I do wish they added more challenges. It was very simple. One of the levels, for example, you get the gun and then loads of enemies spawn, you kill them all, and you've done the challenge. I kind of wish they made it a bit more challenging with that. Visually, I just think the game looks really, really cool. You know, it's Unreal Engine 5, a lot of these games are, and you'd expect some technical issues, and I barely had any. Maybe some couple stutters here and there, but nothing too drastic. Obviously, there's neon lights everywhere, and the city design is really, really cool. Some of the levels are awesome. One of them reminded me of the level from Titanfall 2, where you're kind of jumping back and forth and going through portals.
It's a strange feeling. I should be excited, but at this point, I feel kinda empty.
I think the enemies are quite cool. After a while, you do start to notice some patterns. You know, the AI isn't the smartest, but for some reason, I always got hit. So maybe they are. But it forces you to move and use a lot of your abilities. There's jumping and the shield damage and swapping guns. So I guess, you know, that's the point. They can be quite deadly if you stand still, similar to a Doom game. I think the boss fights are... they're a good spike in difficulty, but... And some of them had some cool mechanics, especially the very end fight. I wish they expanded on it a little bit more than they have. This is exactly what I'm going back to saying, where I feel like a sequel would really kind of bring this into its true form. I will say it's a short game. It's about 5 hours, and I know a lot of people won't really like that. People these days are just screaming for a 60-hour campaign and massive open world levels. I don't think it's needed. I didn't feel like the game was cut too short. I've seen a lot of reviews on Steam mention that it's quite short, and that put them off. I didn't really have a problem with it. I felt like the pacing was quite good. I liked jumping from level to level, and by the end of it I was quite satisfied. I didn't feel like I wanted to unlock any more or go back through for another playthrough. It just hit the mark. Now the story, it's a bit of a difficult one for me. As I started playing, I was quite intrigued because obviously you have no idea what's going on and you're trying to learn about this character and this person called Nexus talking in your ear, and there's a lot to look at, and the art style was very beautiful, so you're very intrigued at the start. As it went on, your character starts to kind of maybe get some memories back and things, and that kept me intrigued, and by the end of it, the ending just didn't do it for me. It was a bit all over the place. It was a bit cheesy, I think. I would have preferred if they had a bad ending. If you want to play it for yourself, then go for it. But I wish it changed up the formula a little bit and led to a second game. If they're not making a second game, then fair enough. I guess this is a good ending for that. The other thing that I noticed, and I wasn't sure whether it was a bug for myself or whether it was just in gameplay in general, like it was a feature, but there was no lip syncing to the voices. So the character wasn't speaking. There was voiced over, but my character's lips never moved or anything like that. So, and even at the very end as well, when you see some more characters, none of them were speaking. If that was intentional, fair enough. Didn't really put me off, but I just thought it could have been something that they could have added, and I thought it might have just helped it a little bit more. Now look, it's a 5-hour game. It's easy. If you've got some time on the weekend, then I'd for sure recommend you just give it a go. I didn't put it down for the entire 5 hours. I played the entire thing. I enjoyed unlocking the weapons. I was quite intrigued about the story going through it. It was quite fun seeing a lot of the little secret areas. Nothing too crazy, but there's the odd passageway here and there that might lead to a 1-up life or something in case you die. So it does keep you intrigued and keep you going. I think, you know, it was fast. The combat was really satisfying, and the world just looks great. There was some really kind of genuinely fun moments, especially since you can slow down time and have some cool stuff like that. I would say that it's just not reinventing the wheel that much, and it's over pretty quick. They could have done a bit more, and I feel like a sequel could really just polish things up and make this a truly great game. But I will say, if you want a solid kind of stylish shooter and you just want to kind of tear through for a few hours and you don't have anything else going on, pick it up. It's really not that bad. I just really can't wait to see what they do with a sequel. Imagine this entire package, but a little bit longer, maybe some more enemy variety, a bit more polish, flesh out some more challenges, some collectibles and secrets, because I didn't see any of those either. If they put all of that together into one big package with a cohesive story that kind of led on and had you maybe making some decisions or whatever, I feel like it could be really special. But anyway, that's my little kind of recap on Metal Eden. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.